Okay.
I'm recording.
You can hear, right?
No, you're gonna have to place it closer so I can get a good capture of it.
You hear, right?
No, I
Oh,
can't.
oh wait. What? I feel stupid. I'm putting the phone closer to my mic. I forgot the volume's coming from the computer. Oh.
You're special. That's most special.
He's talking a little right now.
I never understood. I would read the Bible and I never understood. That's because church people, they present the Bible to you as a prayer book. And it's that. But it's more than that. It's the history. It's a history book. It's the greatest history book on planet Earth. It's the history book of the world from the beginning of mankind, okay? And God, two nations in Earth. And one was Esau. And it's kind of a code. And if you were like me, what you are, because you don't have the knowledge of it, you never thought about it in that sense. That it's two nations. You just thought about it like I thought about it. She had twins. Okay. But she had two nations in her body. And all nations are sprung up from women. Like most of the nations of the earth now come from Noah and his wife. And it explains in Genesis that after the flood, how one nation went one way, and they became the Africans, and the Europeans went, the Gentiles went up into the caves in Europe, and they became the Gentiles. And the only thing it doesn't really explain is, well, where did the Indian and the Asian come from? But the Asian came from the black anyway, so over in the East. So I just don't know where the Indian came from. But so when he put two nations, that means that once he had the kids, that they were going to grow up and go separate ways and go to different countries and become nations. And all of their offspring, their kids, their grandkids, their great grandkids on down will be one nation. And Jacob was going to be the black nation, and Esau was going to be the white nation. And what the story is all about is, now I know you've heard that people say that God's chosen people.
Yeah, I heard
mostly the Jewish people say that.
Yeah.
See, God's chosen people, it tells you right there, was Rebecca's womb was Jacob. Jacob was the nation of the blacks. Esau was the nation of the whites. And Jacob was the oldest, and his birthright was taken because his birthright was to be the ruler of the earth. And Esau
What?
tricked the dad, because the dad had to give the birthright to the oldest son. And the dad was real old. People in them days lived, Methuselah was 1,000 years old. And Moses, when he died, he was 900 and something. So them guys was real old, and he was blind. And Esau was able to trick him and make him think that he was Jacob, and he blessed Esau with Jacob's blessing. Esau, his people grew up to be the Europeans who conquered the world. First it was the Greeks, and first it's the Greeks, and then it's the Romans. And now let's look at that name. Who are they now? See, the Bible could tell you all kinds of stuff, leading all the way up today. Who does Esau look like? Look at that name. Tell me what you can get out of that name.
First I was thinking about Saul, but I guess that's like Esau. Or it starts with E.
Take the E off. What do you see? USA. not in that order. The white man in America, that's Esau. So you have to figure out the riddle. See, the church ain't teaching people right. They just, pray and go to heaven and all that fucking shit. But when God made man, and he put man eastward in the garden in Eden, which is in Ethiopia, and he said, give man dominion. Dominion means you're the ruler of the whole earth. He got dominion over the animals. A lion could kill you, but you got dominion over a lion. We got dominion over all of them badass animals. Man is the baddest motherfucker. Because God gave him dominion over all. Man is the ruler of the earth. We could take a lion and put him in a zoo and put him in a cage and make him jump through loops with fire around it. That's how bad man is. We the baddest motherfuckers on this planet. Okay, so Esau stole our birthright. The black man is the true ruler of the world. The black man from the 10 tribes of Israel, of northern Israel, are God's true chosen people. And it says it throughout the Bible. But now the white man is starting to make new about it. In order to get this knowledge, because I don't know if anybody's ever told you, but knowledge is king. Knowledge is what you rule the world with. The knowledge is in the Bible. See, most people read the Bible looking for God, and I used to do that, and I still do. I'm guilty. But the Bible is a book of knowledge. It's not just a prayer book the way it's presented to you and I. It's the greatest history book on the face of the earth, but we don't know how to read it. We know how to read it, but we get to looking in there and say, and thou said, we don't know what thou mean and all that old stuff, the way the Bible talks, it's not, that's why King James broke it down for us somewhat so we could understand it a little better. But he didn't break it down to where you have to study to break it down, to get the knowledge out, to find out who we are in the world. Because the guy that brought the knowledge to me, I think he was trying to belittle me, and he jumped on me. You don't even know who you are. I said, what do you mean I don't know who I am? I'm Lawrence Plummer. He said, hell no, you ain't no Lawrence Plummer. That's your slave name. You don't know who you are in the whole scope of the whole wide world.
Yo, slave.
What everybody else thinks. If you go over to Israel, to Egypt, to the Middle East, to Africa, they know this. It's been hidden from us over here. Because if you find out who you are, you find out your power and what happened to it.
Boy, those are pretty light though, but
they just sense it. That's Esau that you see in Israel. Israel used to be Jacob itself. You think about, you look over in Israel right now, but I don't know if they're going to put it on Google or not. They put everything else on Google. See if you could Google up what people look like 2,000 years ago in Israel. Wasn't a white motherfucker over there 2,000 years ago.
You mean
the white man
10,000 plus years ago in Africa? Is that what you mean?
The ones that are over there right
the
now,
birthplace of humanity?
47.
Oh.
In my daddy's day.
that was the year they became a nation.
Yeah, that was the year they became a nation. They became a nation because they took over. It was already a nation there. It was a black nation. They took over. There was already a nation in Africa. There was many nations in Africa. They took over that.
I see you just out South Africa. There's white people in South Africa.
In South Africa, they took the whole thing. North America, there was already nations here. There were tribal nations.
2,000 years ago, there were white nations in North America? What?
By accident. He called them in by accident. Yeah. And named them in.
I'm pausing real quick. I like how my bird's playing devil's advocate.
Like, does he understand that the shit he's saying is fucking retarded? Israel wasn't created until the 1950s. Well, I mean, Israel existed in the Middle East beforehand, right? And it went out of existence. And it was recreated in the 1950s, post-World War II, by the British, well, actually, post-World War One. Sorry, post-World War One, the British helped the Arabs overthrow what was left of the Ottoman Empire, and they took over the Middle East and created Israel and separated it with Pakistan. Somewhere along those lines, that's how it happened. And then post-World War II in the 50s, the U.S. moved a gigantic Jewish population to Israel because they felt they were not welcomed in Europe. Understandably.
Yeah.
But by doing that, they displaced the Islamic people that were there, which is, the tension that we have now. So, but what he's saying doesn't make any... I don't understand.
Yeah, I know, it's hard to
Because
understand fucking logic with the dumb fuck.
What gets me is that 2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire would have been around. So,
I like how you thought the Greek Empire ruled the world too, by the way. I thought that part was funny.
The Greeks never ruled the world. They ruled.
Yeah, they never did.
They ruled part of the they ruled part of the Middle East, the northern parts of the Middle East.
Romans ruled the world. Did Romans have great influence upon the world? You want to argue? Yeah, but
yeah, they had major influence. In fact, empires into the future built themselves off the Republic of Rome. So
yeah, like I was thinking, if you want, also too, I like how my grandpa mentioned this. My brother.
By the way,
skip the Middle Ages.
His name is a slave name. God talked to him and told him his name was a slave name, and that his true power was taken away. And the whole thing, if you take that letter away, it makes USA, but not in that order. You know what else? 9 plus 2 equals 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. 9/11. Therefore, 9/11 was done by the Jews. That's the type of connection conspiracy he's doing. It doesn't make any sense. Have you ever watched an episode of South Park where Cartman blames 9/11 on Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what your grandfather is doing. He wants to sit there and try to criticize people for misusing the Bible and shit for their own gain, and that's exactly what he's fucking doing. The pot's calling the kettle black. So, it's fucking doesn't make any... none of it makes any fucking sense.
And it gets more to why he talks about the white people.
Yeah,
he's doing typical priest shit. I know this is typical priest tactic. They talk about the Bible and like, okay, you agree with this, and this is the history, blah blah. Now let me talk about white people.
Even the Bible doesn't say the shit he's saying. I've looked at the Bible. It doesn't. It's got some pretty fucked up shit, and I'm pretty sure I would have noticed that fucked up shit. So, I don't. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm sitting here. I had to mute my mic because I was laughing because I want people to hear it. It's fucking retarded. The shit that is coming in his mouth is mentally, like, on a scale somewhere. He's got to be classified as mentally handicapped. There's no way that people that believe in that type of stuff are normal people with an average IQ. It's not possible. I refuse to believe it. You have to be stupid, dude.
Yeah, really fucking stupid. Also, too, I have the biggest military for some reason.
So so Noah and his wife, after the Great Flood, split into two nations. One being black people, the Africans, and the other being the white people who went to live in the caves of Europe, right? Or in the caves. Yeah. The white people then came out later and somehow got all the way from Europe and conquered South Africa first. They took all of it.
No, he's gonna argue soon. He's gonna mention this, how the white man made a deal with the devil, and I'll play it. I'm gonna play it now. But yeah, he mentions it, and that's why they rule the world.
Oh.
The white people made a deal with the devil.
That explains it all. That makes so much more sense now.
Because this is what he said. Okay, because there was a part in the Bible. This part is true, but he misuses it. The devil went to Jesus and at the top of the world, or this one place where you can see the whole world, which is technically false because there's no way you can see the whole world, because that's back when people thought the world was flat. But anyways, you get my point, right? This is fiction, all right?
Yeah.
Fictional wise, they could so-called see the whole world, right? And the devil said to Jesus, "I'll give you the whole world if you kneel before me." And that's when the whole saying where Jesus says, "Get thee behind me," saying. Now here's the part where it's added. After Jesus leaves, Papa adds that the white man came up and said, "I'll make a deal with you."
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
And now time to play.
By accident. That was a whole nation of people here. Esau took it from them. Esau been taking shit since way back when.
Wait, hold on. Did you read the part where it says, wait a minute. Oh, wait, so Esau was still condemned. And I think somewhere it said that they will not have mercy. I forgot exactly what it said. But
okay. That's because. Okay, now see, my problem is
Oh, here comes the picking and choosing parts of the Bible.
He jumped down in, and he had this big old magnifying glass. And he set my ass down and made me read the Bible. That magnifying glass, where you can see them words bold. And he had me to where I could go to the Bible and tell you where the scripture is at. Like this is telling you where to go. Okay, this is in Revelations 7:1 and Revelations 20. If you want to know about this, Jacob's children, where what you just said. See, and somewhere in there, I think it's in Revelations, it said that Lucifer. See, Lucifer was an angel. See, when God formed the world, he said, let us. Who was he talking to? When he said he was talking to Jesus and the devil. Because the devil was God's greatest angel.
Jesus exists back then.
God's prettiest angel. And that's why vanity is a sin because...
Hey, go ahead and pause that real quick.
All right.
I'm also going to butt in and say that I believe the mentioning of Jacob's children, like he just said, was not Revelations. It's Genesis. That's where they were mentioned. So where he got that from, I don't know. So
can't know a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll play it again.
Yeah, go back.
That's it. And he wanted to take over. And that's how he turned evil. So Lucifer took Jesus up on the certain Mount Olive. You heard of the Mount Olive?
Yeah, I know.
He took Jesus up on Mount Olive. And
by the way, vote against me getting embargoed.
You see the whole world.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah, I see the whole world. It can all be yours if you bow down and worship me. And Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan. And Esau snuck up to Satan. Take that fucking deal, man. And so Esau made a deal with the devil that he would be the ruler of the whole world for 10,000 years. And in that covenant, at the end of that covenant, it says, and at hell are we at agreement. You know what that means?
Yeah, it means
so for thousands of years, Esau, when I say Esau, I'm just not talking about the son that stole the thing from Jacob. He represents the whole nation and all of his descendants, the white people, were not permitted to enter the kingdom of heaven because it was under the covenant of death, that deal that their forefathers made with the devil. Until I can't quote the years anymore. Like something like 5,000 years before Jesus or something like that. So that would be BC. BC means before Jesus, before Christ. So like 5,000 years BC or something like that. Paul was some kind of...
Pause it real quick.
You're talking about the...
If he's talking about empires within the Middle East, you know, in the BC, it'd be 1000 BC. If he's still talking about Israel.
You heard him already. He was trying to say Esau and his descendants. Esau's code word for white. You got recognize his code words.
Yeah.
Code word for white. Him and his descendants go to hell because apparently they made a deal with the devil. Like I said, the problem with that logic is even if that was so-called true that Esau made a deal with the devil, that also makes God evil. That's why I don't debate them because they hate me because I rip logic to them. Why would God do group punishment? Did Esau talk to anyone in the future? Chris, did you get a vision from Esau saying, hey, I'm about to make this deal. Do you accept it? And you said, hell no? No, he didn't consult anyone. The deal should just be made for him and him only. Who the fuck makes a deal and put your name on it without your consent? That doesn't make
Usually,
sense. That would
well,
make
I
God
mean,
evil.
it wouldn't be the first time God did something like that, i.e., Sodom and Gomorrah, for
Exactly.
smiting because of different sins, for no apparent reason other than the fact of sin itself.
And that there were some homos. Like, okay, even if there were gay people, I'm pretty sure not everyone in the city was gay.
Yeah, I'm
You
pretty
destroy
sure
the
not
entire
everyone
city.
deserved to die within the city of sin and greed, because why? They're there. Uh, uh, and if you turn back and
Doesn't
look,
make
you
any
turn
sense.
into a pillar of salt or glass or whatever. Like, that's fucking stupid.
What the fuck? Yeah.
I think.
Don't look at my mayhem and destruction.
What I
Well,
think is
why?
that
Don't question me.
Sodom and Gomorrah may have existed, and what happened was that they existed
Or the
before the
meteor.
time. Well, they existed before the time of the people who wrote about them. So their destruction was only carried on by say so, from person to person. So I think what happened is maybe during the unrest after King Solomon's death, which is like, sometime after 1000 BC, I think, that these two cities were burned to the fucking ground or razed by foreign kings because the Assyrians invaded, right? So
I
I see they're
heard
converted.
actually.
Or it could be a meteor that entered it, which explains why they saw meteors flying down and hitting the plate. It could be a number of things.
I
But
heard that historians found meteor like
oh, did
pieces
they?
by pieces and
I never
stuff.
heard that,
Yeah,
so I
and
didn't know.
my mom
So.
argued that's proof that God destroyed it with meteors and stuff, and I'm like, no.
Or
maybe
proof that a meteor
exaggerated
struck the planet and broke up, and this happened to hit two cities that where the ruins are right next to each other.
And people made assumptions saying, "Oh, God must have did because the cities were evil." I mean, just like back in the day, how if lightning touched the ground, God was angry, or if it was raining, God was sad.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, angels were crying and shit. I heard that shit too.
Yeah, stupid shit like that. So, ooh, I can make a proposal. Okay, France, you just want to ban gold. Okay, well, you're stupid. How about we embargo you, France?
Because what he's saying doesn't make any sense. It just because he's talking about all these nations and beforehand all these nations and tribes and all this whatnot, in Israel. Well, he doesn't mention King Saul, which was the person who put them all these empires under one rule. He doesn't talk about not King Saul, King David. Sorry, David, who brought all the tribes together under one nation. He doesn't talk about King Solomon, who built the temples in Jerusalem, where all the Israels could go and worship. He doesn't talk about Solomon's death, when the 10 northern tribes broke, and then the Assyrians came in sometime later. I think it was like 822 BC or something like that. And it just doesn't.
Don't talk about any of that shit.
Doesn't about Judah being defeated by Babylonians. He's not mentioning any other stuff that would. He's like jumping all over the place, and I guess it's one of those things. He's picking and choosing and interpreting how he wants to interpret, while using outside influence to build his own argument, which he can go ahead and do. But if you're going to sit here and try to quote the Bible and use verses from the Bible, then you better damn well quote the right verses. That's all I ask. Is if you're going to sit here and try to school me on the Bible, if you're going to sit here and try to say, no, it means this, and people didn't understand the Bible until the King James version, which is fucking just mind-numbingly fucking stupid. But you know what? Go ahead, continue it. This is hilarious. Go ahead and make my mic so I don't laugh all the fucking time.
Yeah, I'll continue it now.
The Apostle Paul, he made a deal with God that if he could convert
The Gentiles.
a Gentile to serve the Lord, would they be allowed into the kingdom of heaven? And it was because of the Apostle Paul that they're even allowed in there, period. But they have to act right.
sense that like some will argue with you like who the Gentiles are, who the Jews and the Gentiles are. A lot of black people argue that I don't think they Gentiles. They are not Gentiles. They're Jews. We're the original Jews. So the Jews in Israel fake, huh? I used to go to that scripture in the Bible that said, when they kept asking how long, oh Lord, he said, just have patience. He said, I know that you're worried about those that say they are Jews, but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Okay. God said he had 7 churches. He never mentioned any synagogue. That even sounds devilish. So,
I had to pause real quick. There's a deal that we made, and I'm only now making 392 gold out of 600. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Let me.
Unless you want, yeah.
Gold per turn.
Now I'll continue.
everybody ain't always who they say they are, son.
There you go.
I could look at you and say, I'm a child of God and go out here and get to killing motherfucker. George Bush, every 5 minutes he's up in church. The devil lives in the church, son. You don't have to go to church to be of God. God is in here. When you come to know and love the Lord, he speaks to you from the heart. He don't speak to you from no church. He does when something happens in your life and you go to church and search thereof. You got to be careful because the devil is old, man. He was sitting up there with God when he formed the earth. That's how old the devil is. So he know the first place to look for your soul. And that's when you're searching for God and you're sitting in a church. And he sent all them devils after the preacher that's fucking every woman in the church and all them kind of people at you.
The thing is that the devil, in theory, could not enter the church because of the holy items that pertain to a church. If he's ever seen the movie Damien,
Yep.
the son of
son
of Satan couldn't enter that church. So.
Hold up a second, beat. Grab them. Fine.
Alright, you'll be right back.
Yeah, I just gotta grab some clothes that my grandpa left online because he decided to air dry them.
Alright,
Like
that's good
country
because I need to stop recording and start a new section, so that's the perfect timing.
Alright. Right back.